They must prepare themselves for what's to come. In this place that transcends the ordinary, they are the outsiders, the enemy, the prey, the threat.
But the supreme meaning is the path, the way, and the bridge to what is to come. The supreme meaning is not a meaning and not an absurdity. It is image and force in one, magnificence and force together. The supreme meaning is the beginning and the end. It is the bridge of going across and fulfillment. From The Way of What Is to Come by Carl Jung. Welcome back to our journey. 5th episode of Season 1, Incinerator. Amagiri leaves all point to the center of the abyss, while their sprouts point to the north. The symbolic meaning behind this directionality in the forest of temptation might be the idea that deep in natural roots and desires, the desire for the unknown and adventure is something fundamental for life in every living being. It's the purpose of evolution for creatures to adapt and overcome harsh environments. This is not a pretty process. Many predators may use this deep desire to hunt us for their own survival and adaptation, just like what we do to them. Later in the story in Season 2, while Reg is lost in the 6th layer, he tries to look for Amagiri leaves, but there aren't any to guide him. That's smart of Reg to look for them. But in the harsh environment of the 6th layer, it's not that easy to find your way. As a weird and eccentric kid, Riko looks quite well fitted in this environment. For many of us, living normally is not what we are made for. Finding the path that fits our abilities and makes use of them is the path we enjoy walking, and the one in which we can become successful. Corpse sweepers are nasty creatures. They fool their prey by mimicking sounds. If they capture prey with high social capabilities, such as hammerbeaks or humans, they will learn their prey's cries for help and use them to lure others to their colony. Thus the name Corpse Sweeper. Despite that, they are quite affectionate creatures. Also, they don't have right eyes, which is weird. They have one eye at the top of their head and a left eye. The Incinerator, the Light of Essence, a relic that is part of Reg. Based on the schematics in the art book, it emits a beam of light, indicating the area to eliminate. This light penetrates through objects and is not destructive. This is sometimes accompanied by a lightning effect. At its edges, an invisible force creates a centrifugal motion that, through friction with the exterior, produces a burn-off effect and extreme thermal energy, which have a secondary destructive power. Objects within the range of the light break apart and are absorbed into the spinning axis. And finally, the device emits a blast of heat. According to Nanachi's theory, relics in the abyss can contain a pattern that signifies the number of uses left before becoming useless. Along with passing out for 2 hours, 10 minutes after using the incinerator, the pattern in Reg's helmet decreases. Electricity seems to recharge it, as the symbol grew again after Reg was exposed to electricity at Ido Front. Apparently, the incinerator isn't simply a destructive weapon. Reg is also capable of setting the incinerator so that no living beings are harmed, which is what Bondroot's comment after an enraged Reg fires it refers to. Also, we know that this relic has the power to rewrite the rules of the abyss. This probably means it doesn't just annihilate the restrictions, but can write new ones as well. To be able to rewrite the rules can be considered the most powerful ability to have. This means the Light of Essence can overcome anything in its path and shape things the way one wants them to be. We still don't know much about this rewriting ability. It might itself be constrained by a stronger will, and Reg might not have full control over it to use it to its fullest extent. The girl type seems to have such an ability as well. We see the remains of her claw marks in this scene from Volume 14. They seem huge and destructive like Reg's incinerator. In Volume 12, Srajo theorizes that it was after reports of the appearance of the girl type in the 5th layer that Bondroot got his hands on a relic he calls Spragmos, the essence returning light. Spragmos is a term from ancient Greek ritual and mythology. It refers to a ritualistic tearing apart or dismemberment of a living being, usually by a group acting in a state of religious frenzy or ecstasy. In the extras of Volume 5, we see that it's a processed relic, and it creates a blade of light, which is interesting, since the girl-type class probably made multiple blades of light as well. We'll talk about what probably happened between Bondroot and the girl-type in future videos. We see the word essence many times. Light of essence, essence returning light, form of the essential part, ring of essence. But what does it actually mean? If anyone asks me what is the most essential idea in Made in Abyss lore, I'd say essence. I believe essence is deeply connected with the idea of wishes and desires. Without knowing your essence and striving toward it, your wishes make you hollow, the shadow of your former self. Riko still doesn't know what exactly her wish is. She needs to find her essence to be able to become who she's truly meant to become. It's too soon to talk about this idea since it's likely related to the ending of Made in Abyss. After saving Riko, Rek gets really scared about the fact that he could have shot Riko mistakenly. This pessimism matches his personality and makes him behave more carefully with his actions. Even in his nightmare, hurting Riko haunts him. Embarrassed Rek is my favorite. Also, this scene is censored in the anime. In the manga, Riko's hair doesn't cover her chest. Yes, it's a very important piece of information. In Rek's nightmare, Riko is saying, "Gone, gone." Then Rek wakes up and we see it's referring to Riko's notebook. But I think the nightmare might refer to something from Rek's memories. But the story pushes us to interpret it as Riko's notebook being gone. This scene is really important. The conversation between Rek and Riko about the food they eat. Many of us in these modern days forget how cruel it is to eat other living beings. Whether it be a plant or an animal, they are all alive and trying to grow and work to fulfill themselves. The species that overcomes another will consume them to grow more. Eat or be eaten. We cannot survive unless we accept the cruel rules of nature. But maybe one day, when we could overcome nature and rewrite its rules, we can make a less cruel world. But for now, we have no other choice but to accumulate these dark values. The way Rek uses his hands to move and descend is really creative. Extending one hand and shortening the other lets his whole body move. He also can secure himself while descending a steep downhill. In another instance, the way he grabs his own arm to secure himself and swing is awesome. So fascinating that with such simple mechanics, he can do so many different moves in different situations. He's gonna learn much more about how to use his body later in the story and become even more capable. Riko finds many sun spheres here and really wants to keep them all, but Rek tells her that they don't have a space for them, so she grabs one. The interesting thing is that this is probably the one that Rek uses to distract the creature pursuing him in the third movie. The inverted forest. This place is the opposite of what one finds normal. It's a realm of the unexpected and new. The main cause of this landscape is probably seafloor. If you look at the rough map, you can see the inverted forest is at the same level as the seafloor, and the tree roots are upwards so they can reach water. Marulk is a boy. He's a femboy. He's a fucking femboy. And here we are, the Seeker camp of the Raiders, where Riko is gonna meet her shadow, all she is not. We're gonna meet the first white vessel here.
The immovable sovereign, Ozen the Immovable. A white whistle who possesses unrivaled physical strength. She has a certain glint in her eyes. For these children, will it prove to be a spark of hope? Or instead, an ominous warning?